Manifestor, and they are about 9% of the population, and they're here to initiate things, to start things. They have an aura that's very close to them, so they're not prickly, but they're not cuddly. They'll like, you know a manifestor because at a group function, they'll probably be on the perimeter of that group function, just kind of observing.
Yeah.
And then, so their strategy is to inform, because people get really freaked out when they initiate without informing first. And a great way to interact with a manifestor also, because they're so quick in their creation process, is to inform them of what you're doing. Because they'll get angry, they'll be like, well, I didn't know you were doing that. I was all over here initiating this. And it's like, okay. So, you can inform a manifestor.
Yeah.
It's tough to be a manifestor in some ways. Everybody wants to be a manifestor, but manifestors don't want to be manifestors. Because the generator gets to respond to life and dance with life. The projector gets to be recognized and invited. So there's some external play and validation happening. For the manifestor, it's all from within. The only way they know if something's right is to do it and see what happens.
Right.
And that gets shut down in them, by the time they're 3. And then the last type are the reflectors, and they have no definition in their chart. They only have gates, which is getting a little more complicated than we need to get right now. But they have to wait. They're 1/8 of 1% of the population.
Oh my gosh.
They're here to be wise about humanity because they're completely open.
Yeah.
They deeply understand the potential of humanity.
Wow.
They also see where humanity is, so they experience a lot of despair, and they experience a lot of despair for not being recognized in their wisdom. And we live in such a you got to make decisions now kind of world that they're supposed to wait a whole lunar cycle to make a decision, because each day defines a different part of their chart, so they learn a different element of their truth.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so is
Sandra
that
Bullock,
specific to
she's
them?
the reflector.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes, that is specific to them.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's specific to them for the decision making. We
Right.
all get lit up in different ways throughout our lifetime, and that's what that means also about that variation. So, I've got some hanging gates off my will center, which the will center is willpower, and you can willpower through something.
Right.
So there may be a time where that gate is activated for a year or 6 months or whatever that connects that channel for me and defines that channel for that time period. So you can have the experience of like, I don't understand. Last year I was so good at like just powering through things, and it's like, well, yeah, but that's not who you are.
Right.
That's you gaining wisdom about the different natures and ways that energy shows up in humanity.
That's so cool. So your chart, when you're actually looking at like the chart when you go to the website, that's like your sort of like foundational chart.
Yeah.
But there can be kind of like fluid, like things become defined and then undefined.
Absolutely.
If you have a lot of open, is that true only for the ones that are undefined, or can like a center that's defined, is that ever going to be undefined at any time? Right.
It will never be undefined.
Okay. So
but
it's
you
just
might
the undefined ones.
experience nuanced energies of that even, because
Okay.
you can get channels hooked up that hadn't been hooked up, which will have a slightly different flavor
Okay.
than what you're used to. But you won't experience near as much variation as you do with your open centers. And you can also hook up with other people. So like, I've got my design and you've got your design, and I haven't put our chart, I haven't done a composite of our charts.
Right.
But the way I show up with you and the way I experience my energy with you, particularly because I only have 2 defined centers,
Yeah.
so I have a highly variable experience, will be completely different than the way I show up with someone else and hook up with someone else.